Good morning and happy Thursday. It is day 4 of our Spring into Summer program. Now, I've just finished teaching strength training, which is why I'm all fired up and excited about my Thursday. Today we did kettlebells and some floor work, I know. So that was really good. We call it lift lean. In the community, we call it dance and lift because we do dances in the warm-up, but that's in Exeter. Online, we do lift lean. Now, today for day 4, we are going to be continuing. So day 1, you talked about what was your goal and you were really trying to break it down. Hi, Melanie, as to what was in, that goal. What was it? When were you going to do it by? How important was it to you? How are you going to benefit from getting there? All those things. Good morning, Lorna. Day 2, we talked about, where am I at the moment? And we were talking about challenges and all sorts of other things on day 2. Day 3, we talked about food. That was really interesting. And thank you so much for being kind of open and honest about how you find things. Dee, thanks for mentioning about your pot noodle and your teenager with a pot noodle. It's interesting, isn't it? We were saying about what are those challenges and how can we work around those challenges? And I just need you to know I'm absolutely not a saint. All my members will know that. When I was losing my 5 dress sizes, back when I was 39 to 41, it took me 2 years because I got distracted so often. But the goal was in sight, okay? I knew what I wanted. And although if I was going from London to Edinburgh, I did go via Penzance twice, but I still got there. I achieved what I wanted to. So when you do have blips in the road and you do think, oh, that wasn't really very helpful. Why did I eat that entire bar of chocolate? Just remember that tomorrow is another day, okay? And that you can just put yesterday's dodgy habits behind you and start again. The issue is if you don't start again, you won't make the progress you want and you'll get frustrated, and that's not a great place to be. Okay, now today we are talking about what possibilities are there that you can, what things, what options, what possibilities can you think of to help you get from where you currently are to where you want to be. All right, this is a really important stage of coaching because there's lots of blue sky thinking. At this point, you're not committing to anything. You're just thinking, what if I could do that or I could do that? So here are some questions for you to write down in your journal that you might like to think about. Okay, so options. What could you do that would move you one step closer to your goal? Okay, so we're not talking about giant leaps for mankind. We're talking about what could you do that would take you one step closer? What would your best friend tell you to do? If they knew you wanted to get from here to there, what would they advise you? If you secretly knew what the answer was, what would it be? Okay. So at this point, you're not committing to anything at all. Okay. What could you do? If you had all the time in the world, what would you love to do? And then you can think, well, actually, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. That would help me get from here to there. So those questions, what could you do to take one step closer, make one step closer? What would your best friend tell you to do? If you secretly knew what the answer, what would it be? And if you had all the money in the world or all the time in the world, you add your own words in there. What could you do? And really think about that because there are so many different things. We don't just have to think of the first things that come into our head. Put those questions down and have a think and write them down. Then once you've done that, you can review your list of possibilities and options. So going forward, what are you going to do? What are you going to commit to doing? Looking at those options, what feels right? Okay, so some of you have talked about becoming more active. Some of you have been talking about changing what's in the food cupboard. What are you going to do first? Make a plan, all right? And when are you going to do it? And you can write it down. How will you do it? How will you do those changes? Will you, I don't know, maybe go shopping at a different time of day so you're not hungry? These are just examples, okay? Or set the alarm clock for a bit earlier, and do some exercise before your day starts. Ah, yes. And you see, in these light mornings, I know that the clock's going spring forward. The clock's going forward, which will be good because the dog is now barking at 6:20 every morning. So we're going bring on the spring forward. But actually exercising before your day starts is such a fantastic thing to do because it gets it done. And then you feel brilliant for the rest of the day. Now, thinking also, questions could be, so we've said, how will you do it? On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you feeling? You can grade yourself. 1 is no chance. 10 is gonna do it now. Grade yourself, and then you think to yourself, what could I do to move myself 1 step up the ladder towards 10? Okay, what could I do to improve my commitment to me? Then also think, once you've got your list of what your action plans are, what could stop you from taking these actions? Then work out what you can do so they're not going to stop you. It's about being realistic and making your own plan to achieve what you want to achieve, because that way it's meaningful. Okay. So those are some questions for you to be thinking about, your possibilities for your actions, okay, what you could do, and then what you've decided on doing. You're going to write those down and make your plan. And make sure, yes, I agree, Marnie, exercising in the morning is the way to go, definitely. And then once you've made that plan, okay, commit to it, all right? Put some times on it. You know, I'm going to commit to be doing this for a week, for example. And then, of course, you can review things, can't you? So making a plan and then regularly reviewing it to see how you're getting on. Never, ever criticising yourself, but thinking, okay, reflecting back, that was really important to me, that I felt good in my clothes at the school reunion, for example, or the big party. And how am I doing with my progress? Lots of us have these 5 o'clock issues. I'm loving that Sheila keeps ringing someone, or someone rings her at 5 o'clock, distracts her from thinking, shall I start eating now before my tea? But it may well be that you have a coffee, you pick up a really good book, you do some craft or something, and you just think to yourself, no, food isn't for now, food is for later. I'm not that hungry, I might have a drink, I might have a piece of fruit, a bit of, coffee or tea or whatever you want, nice fruit tea. Just you're managing your life. There's no point. The great thing about coaching is that we never tell you what to do because it's meaningless. Only you know what's important to you. Only you know how you think. We're here to guide you so that you make decisions that get you the results you want. Tomorrow we are talking about my favourite subject, which I'm not going to tell you about now. You're going to have to listen in tomorrow to find out. But day 5 is tomorrow, and I will be giving you some more information. I'm going to be doing some group coaching over 4 weeks. So we're going to do it on Zoom over 4 weeks, 1-hour sessions over 4 weeks. And I'm also going to be opening up some one-to-one coaching sessions for those people who prefer a one-to-one rather than a group session. Having some sort of accountability is fantastic when you're thinking about getting results and really wanting to make changes that are lasting changes that can really improve your health and fitness. So listen out for that. If you can't wait, send me a message and I'll send you details in advance. And have a great Thursday. All right, so thank you for joining me. As ever, we'll have our 5 o'clock roundup tonight. Let us know how you're getting on. Thinking about what possibilities you could think of to help you get from here to there, and then what you do decide to do in the end. All right. Right, see you later. Bye.